Welcome to another video, A Walk with Phil, and I'm in West Bromwich. It's going to be another one of those chilled out walks today. I'm standing here on the corner of Trotters Lane and Coles Lane. Coles Lane will take you up to Hilltop area, but what I'm going to do is going to take you along Denbigh Drive. It's a fairly long road and a narrow road, and it goes through the Hateley estate. So what I'm going to do is going to have a look down Denbigh Drive and see what there is, and yeah, let's go and have a look. Yeah, just on the junction here of Trotters Lane and Coles Lane. Coles Lane will just up there, will take you up to the Hilltop area and by the old site of the Hilltop School. But what I'm going to do is go up here, Trotters Lane, and it's an unusual name, isn't it, Trotters Lane. What I'm going to do is going to go up here, a bit of Trotters Lane here, and then we'll just bear round onto Denbigh Drive. Never walked down here before. It's all very residential areas along the Denbigh Drive. It's all part of the Heath estate that was built at the beginning of the 1950s. There's been a lot of new builds since, but a lot of the old 50s stuff is obviously still here. Just have a look down there. Bit of a green space here. What I'm also going to do, if I can, is try and find the Ridgeacre Canal that runs alongside, well, runs almost in parallel with Denbigh Drive. So we will have a look if we can find that. Seems fairly quiet along here so far. A few bungalows here. In fact, there's a fair few along this particular area. I can see 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 bungalows to my right. They all look like some detached, some semi. You've got some very more newer properties here to my left here, look. With this one's got 3 cars on the drive. Everyone's got cars, haven't they? Back in the day, of course, if you remember the 60s, I can't deny I don't remember the 60s. I remember some of it. There weren't many cars apparently at the beginning of the 60s, but car ownership exploded towards the end of the 1960s. Obviously all started with the Mini, then we had the Ford Cortina, became Britain's best-selling car. Okay, now this Trotters Lane now goes to the right, as you can see, and that will lead you up to Black Lake, just up here. And this is now we're going along Denbigh Drive. Yeah, car ownership exploded by the end of the 60s. It was not unusual to see 1930s and 1940s, 1950s cars still on the roads. Some of them you'd have to start with a crank handle. Some of them had the indicator stalks coming out the sides of the doors. Yeah, and yeah, in the 60s and 70s, some of the cars had wing mirrors. You know, mirrors at the end of the wing, before door mirrors became a thing. 1962, you know, you could actually buy a Jaguar E-Type. Back in 1962, an E-Type cost £2,197. And you know, the average house price at that time was £2,270. Denbigh Drive's a pretty narrow road, look. You have to give way in some parts of the road, oncoming traffic. So you look at that side of the road there, you can see all the houses that side. If you go upwards to the front door, and these to my left, you go down to the front door. Yeah, and all these cars back in the 60s that have a choke. You had to pull a choke out to get the engine going. There were seat belts, I think, in the front. There was none at the back, but nobody used them. The cars back in them days were very unreliable. You have to be your own car mechanic back in those days, in the 60s. Look at these apartments here. Like apartment blocks. I hear stories of people fixing their cam belts with ladies' tights. Yeah. And when you had the cars, you all decided, oh, we're going to go have a trip to the seaside. But roads weren't so comprehensive in those days, so you were going to the seaside. You always had to be prepared to be stuck in a traffic queue for hours on end. There's Brecknock Road just up there. The police became more prevalent as well when they had the cars, the modern cars in the 60s. They mainly used Ford Cortinas. And these Ford Cortinas were painted blue and white, I think. Blue and white, black and white. But I know they was nicknamed Panda cars. They'd also use Minis for police cars. And Ford Anglias, remember them? Ford Anglias. Ahead of me now, we've got Denbigh Crescent. It's a large green expanse here. Nice area, you know, for the kids to play football. And there's a sign here which states that it's no parking or driving on the grassed area. You know, I thought it was going to say no ball games then. But it's a big area, isn't it? I didn't know it was this big. There's some original houses from when they built the houses here on this estate. All the 50s properties here. Most people still used to go to work on buses though. The buses, they'd always have a driver and a conductor. Those days are gone now. On the bus. Still do it on the metro though. Still have a conductor on the metro. Anyhow, I'm on Denbigh Crescent and I'm going to go down this little passageway here, see what's down here. It's a shortcut and I'm hoping that we're going to find the canal down here. Have a look, there's a bit of a shortcut here. Across this piece of ground that's obviously never been used for anything in particular. Can see another gate ahead. There's another kissing gate, we go through that, see where it takes us. A lot of cans of beer, empty cans of beer around here. There you go. This is what I was hoping to find. Just here, look at this here, eh? It's a stagnant canal. It's all full of water, as you can see, and the canal ends just up there near to where Berkshire Close is, and we can look along here, and the ducks have seen me, and this canal will take you along through Black Lake towards that used to be the Swan Village Gasworks. That was where this particular Ridgeacre branch of the canal began. It's not navigable, but it's just still here. It never got filled in, this part, as you can see. Sub branches were created from this canal, of this branch. This branch formed from a Birmingham canal, and then there were sub branches like the Halford branch, Dartmouth branch, Jessup branches, and all these branches, and this one in particular, would serve collieries, iron foundries and the like, especially up at All End, chemical works and all the iron works up there. It would serve the Black Lake Colliery, the Coppish Colliery, and more importantly, of course, it would serve the Swan Lane Gasworks and the nearby sawmills. This particular branch was opened in 1828, and the canal runs for 0.75 miles, and it now ends at near Berkshire Close in Heath, and its beginning point is, as I said, where the old Swan Village Gasworks once was, and there's a pub restaurant up there called the Ridgeacre. I think when you was kids back in the day, you'd play around here, wouldn't you? Okay folks, so we've left the Ridgeacre Branch Canal, which closed down which was disused really in the mid-60s, and it was a lot of parts of the canal were filled in, especially around the Jessup Bridge area, which is on Church Lane, and the Alford branch there, and they were all filled in. But you can see that stretch is still watered, but as I say, it's not navigable anymore. Can't be used for anything. But the ducks seem to like it. Okay, so we're going to leave Denbigh Crescent and continue our way along Denbigh Drive. You could smoke on the buses then in the 60s, and in 70s and 80s as well, I think. But you could only smoke upstairs. You had to go upstairs to smoke. School up there. Do you remember the seats you sat on the bus? It was made with that kind of leatherette material, and they always got vandalised, always got ripped open, and the stuffing was always half out of the seats. I mean, back 40s, 50s, people would use steam trains to get to places. Steam trains, they ended on the 11th of August 1968. They moved a lot of the railways, closed a lot of the stations, so that therefore they created more roads. That created an explosion of cars. Cars once for the privileged and now for the masses. But still primitive by today's standards, aren't they? I don't think you'd have a radio. Heated rear windscreen, they wouldn't have one of them. You could buy one and fit it in yourself. And when you put your own radio in, you sometimes put a makeshift aerial using a coat hanger. tell you the name of this road. No road signage. Yeah, Denbigh Drive is a long road. Nice little corner plot they got here, haven't they? And this one's sold. Acres. I sometimes think what we did as kids for entertainment. I mean, we had TV, but it only had 3 channels. And I don't know, there was stuff on TV first thing in the morning, like your white horses and Casey Jones and his Cannonball Express, Robinson Crusoe in black and white. But we do have comics as well. There's Berkshire Close. Yeah, we'd have comics in the 60s. We'd have the Beezer with the Hillies and the Billies, the Beano and the Dandy, of course. A big grass expanse here. I don't know if it belongs to a school or it's just an open field. Well, that's pretty good, isn't it? If that's for public use. Looks like it. Yeah, and we'd have the Topper. Mickey the Monkey was in there. There was the Eagle. We were, as boys, I think a lot of us remember the Eagle. There's Nottingham Drive just there. Quick look at Nottingham Drive. Looks like as though they're fairly new house properties here on the left. Hateley did obviously have lots of 50s properties. A lot of them have. Some of them have disappeared, and you've got a lot of these new properties now. There's still the originals there, over there on the right. And you'd have Buster, Lion, Valiant, the Tiger with Rye of the Rovers, the Hornet, the Hotspur, and girls they'd have Jackie. That only finished in 1993, the Jackie. Mandy, Smash, Bunty. The Four Marys was in the Bunty. That finished in 2001. Well, I'm more of a 70s really, but I vaguely remember some of those comics only because they ran into the 70s. But yes, we had to make our own entertainment, didn't we? We ain't got no internet, laptops, iPads, phones. There's Pembroke Way. And of course what's quite unique about the Hateley estate is that all the roads are named after areas, such as Kent Close. There's Kent. Unless it was named after Superman, Clark Kent. Yeah, a lot of the roads, as I mentioned when I've done filming around here before, that they are unique in that they are named after areas in Wales and in England. Denbigh's, was it Denbigh's in Wales, isn't it? Alright, so it looks as though we have ended our little walk along Denbigh Drive. Okay folks, so here ends our little walk along Denbigh Drive. Which is as I said earlier, it's a bit of a chill out walk really, along Denbigh Drive here on the Hateley estate. Lots of nice houses along there, narrow roads. We've got the Ridgeacre Branch Canal running parallel more or less with Denbigh Drive. But it seems a very pleasant enough road, it's quiet, and yeah, there you go. So if you like the video, hit the like button and also hit subscribe and hit the notification bell for new videos, and I'll see you on the next one.